Hey everyone, Matt here, Home Farm Ideas, and today I'm going to be introducing my Uncle Jim's worm, or my Uncle Jim's red wigglers, to the show. Anyways, and I'm going to be introducing them actually into the Worm Factory 360. In my last video that you could see right here, I set up my worm factory and I added their bedding, I added the food. Okay, and so now it's been a little bit of time now, and so now the food's kind of rotted down and it's nice and soft and ready to eat. Some people blend it up and they add it to their worm factory, which is fine. It works good. The worms will go through it a lot quicker that way, of course. But I work a lot, and so I don't have time to do all that. So I'm going to do it the way the regular person would do it, and I'm going to add some chunky stuff to it. The one thing that you want to keep in mind if you're adding chunky stuff is just make sure that you give it time to kind of sit and rot a little bit before you throw it in here, because they'll be able to get to it and eat through it quickly. Now, before I really get started with this, I wanted to kind of go over some resources that I think can help you guys in raising these awesome worms for a long time, okay? And follow along with me, actually. You guys all know I'm no professional. I'm always learning. And, someone told me that a full cup can't receive any more water, and I believe that firmly. So I'm going to go over a couple things. You don't want to jump into raising anything without actually reading about it. I wish I would have done that with my kids, right? So there is no manual for kids, though, even though people that write books might think, oh, I'll write a book about kids. I don't even have kids or whatever. So anyways, there is books. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. There is books on worms that you can read. One of those books that I really like is right here. It's Worms Eat My Garbage, or Garbage, whatever. It just depends on where you live. This book is really awesome for beginners, and it goes into details on how to really raise worms and what they need, water, temperature, all these different things. Another thing that you're obviously going to need is worms, and I'm promoting Uncle Jim's Worm Farm because one reason: my fans. Okay, all the people that follow me all over, YouTube and Pinterest, Twitter, all these different places. There's like 60,000 of you guys, and I totally appreciate you guys. But I've heard nothing but good things about Uncle Jim's Worm Farm, their worms, and so I just wanted to basically take some time to really kind of let you guys know that the fans told me about this. You guys told me about these guys, and so they sent me this bag. I reached out to them just to kind of see, how I can basically help them, because they've helped us. And so I reached out to them. They sent me this, and they also sent me the Worm Farm, or the Worm Factory 360. Very generous of them. And I'm humbled by them. So thank you guys so much over there. And then obviously the other thing you're going to need is you're going to need your worm bin. This one, it's pre-made. It's basically ready to go. It's not too much money either. So I would basically recommend this one too. I'm gonna see how it works, but I've heard really good things about this as well, and very little bad on it. But basically, it has holes where the worms can go down and up through this whole thing. It has a worm juice catcher down at the bottom. That's what I call it, worm juice. And then it has a worm ladder underneath this, where the worms can basically crawl out of that juice. It's got a lid. It's got other trays. It's got directions, so it's basically good to go. So if you're new to this, I would definitely recommend starting with something like this. I'm going to put all the links to this in the description below, and if you were not on a mobile device, you actually saw links and stuff pointing to these products where you can get them. All right, so let's add the worms. And basically what you would need here is you would just need to basically add any kind of extra food that you'd want. You need a water bottle, of course, and then you also need your worms. Yeah. So basically, I already pre-soaked all this and all that stuff, and so I'm just going to basically peel this back. There's nothing living in here except for bacteria. And I did put bacteria from my compost pile in here, which is really good. And then I'm going to peel back some of this to expose the bedding, the real good bedding down there. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and add my worms on one side. Yeah, there's the ball. You would add all of this too. You'd add everything to it, all their bedding and everything, because you can basically utilize all that. So, and right now, just this smells like, I mean, I know some of you guys, you basically reach down and you basically smell your compost, and it just smells super clean. This really smells clean as well. And so you want to kind of carefully separate them a little bit. Actually, you don't even need to separate them. You just need to kind of flatten it out. They're going to move around in here anyways. So, but yeah, tons of worms in this. And then from there, since the bedding's a little drier, they do recommend that you add some water to it. I think it's like a half a cup, just to get the bedding wet again, and then reconstitute the worms. Because they're like kind of like dehydrated worms right now. So, but not really. I mean, they're alive, but you know what I mean. So, and then just kind of wet everything down, you know. Everything in here is already really moist. So at this point, it's cool to just basically close it at this point, but I'm gonna, I had a banana for lunch, so they can get started on that. And then I'll do updates and see how this actually looks after a while. So, you know, let me take this whole piece off here because I want to spread this. Spread the worms around just a little. Okay. And the food I added, you know what? We'll just keep it in the same spot. The food I added was over here. So, there we go. Add a little more moisture to this. The bedding's already really wet. Or actually moist. It's actually perfect the way it is, the bedding. Okay. There we go. Now let's add these newspaper and everything back. All right, there we go. With that top down, that already felt moist, but just want to make sure they're not, you know, too dry. So, and then you would add the top at this point. But yeah, that's how you add them in there. So they're already, you know, going to start eating and stuff. So yeah, and just leave them for a little while. Now, when you first add them to your factory, make sure that you keep them in light for a few days, like 2 to 3 days, because they're kind of in a new environment, and so they're going to want to go all over the place. But if you keep a light on them, on the worms, on the factory, they're less likely to crawl out. So keep a light on them. They should also be kept in between 40 degrees and 80 degrees. Anything below or above that, it could kill your worms. So if it's too cold outside, bring them in. If it's too hot outside, bring them in, you know. Wherever you're at, I mean, I don't like being in 80 degrees. I like being in like 75, you know. So try to, you know, keep them out of the heat or the cold. If kept at an optimal temperature and all these different things, they can double. Your worms could double in 90 days or less. So, and then, you know, more worms equals more casting, worm castings. But, you know, that also means more food, you know. That brings me to my next point, actually, which is they can eat up to 50% of their body weight per day. You know, so if you do a little math, 500 worms I have, so 500 worms is about a half a pound of food, basically, for the worms. Now they eat 50% of their body weight per day. Then you will need, if they eat 50% of their body weight per day, then you'll need to feed them like a quarter pound of, like a quarter pounder, basically a quarter pound of any kind of food that is recommended, which I will be touching on the next video. So hopefully that wasn't too rough for you guys. I'm a learner. I'm not really too much of a teacher. But anyways, I enjoy doing these videos with you guys. So like always, God bless you guys, and peace. Check out our network too. We're going to be doing a lot of other different videos. The home survival ideas is almost ready to go. I got a bunch of videos lined up on that one. I'm just waiting to release them. So, and you'll meet our new host for that channel as well. So, anyway, God bless you guys. Peace out. Thank you guys so much for watching our video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Also hit that subscribe button to get all our video updates. Oh yeah, we do have other channels now, so please check them out. Like always, God bless.